and welcome to the Dungeon. I'm your host Rob, and in today's video we're going to be talking about a third-party, basically a monster manual called the Tome of Beasts. It's by Kobold Press. It's one I've mentioned several times before, and I figured I'd actually just go through it and show you some of the beautiful art and some of the monsters. I really like this book a lot, and not only do I use it in my campaign, but basically all the other people who run campaigns that play with me have all started adopting it to their games as well. Now, there's another one that Kobold Press made as well called the Creature Codex. I'll probably cover that in a future video, but I figured at least for now, we'll do this one. So I apologize for my voice. I've been kind of sick lately, but hopefully we can just power through this video anyways and everything will be fine. I think I'm going to do it kind of similar to how I did the Ravenloft review, where I just kind of put the camera over top of it and flip through pages and we'll just talk about it like that. I really like this book, not just the layout, but as we go through it, it has a lot of sidebar information I like, such as explanations of how these different monsters fit into their campaign world, and it can give you ideas of how to incorporate it into yours as well, of course. They also have things like tactics and sidebars, which I kind of like as well, just kind of giving you some fresh ideas on how to run these encounters. I will caution you that some of the CR ratings seem to be a little off. Generally, if something says that it's a CR7, I would probably treat it more like an 8 or a 9. If it says it's a 9, treat it like a 10 or 11. But that being said, I really like this book a lot, so without any further ado, I think we will just kind of go through it and we can discuss it in more detail. Okay? Alright, so here we are looking at the book. So they have like a ridiculous array of creatures and stuff. I really like the write-ups. They have nice descriptions. Here, we'll just kind of zoom in on the abominable beauty here. This is, an otherworldly humanoid of such indescribable beauty, it pains everyone's eyes to gaze upon her. And it'll have, of course, the CRs. They have a nice section where it'll show all of their saving throws. That's pretty much for all of them. I find they're a lot more consistent about that than, say, the Monster Manual was. Oh, sounds like my daughter is not enjoying her breakfast. They have a lot of different creature types too, like a lot of neutral celestials and whatnot. Some interesting stuff like the Chained Angel, which are angels that have been like forcefully captured and corrupted by the forces of darkness. But they have some neat stuff too, like the redemption section there, where you can actually try to free these angels and turn them back to the side of light again. Now, in a lot of these cases, they have a lot of interesting and unique undead, a lot of fated creatures. So this is what I mean by some of these sidebars, where it'll have this creature here, and it'll have a section describing like how it fits into their game world. Baba Yaga's Horseman. Baba Yaga herself is in the Creature Codex, not this book, but that's alright. And, just sections talking about how to deal with them and counter ideas for them. A lot of neat stuff like that. I like a lot of their like demons and devils, as we'll see when we get to that section. We'll skip ahead a bit. They've got some really freaky looking like undead and stuff too. They've got a lot of fae, like a lot of fae. But that's okay. Some new clockwork creatures, which is nice. I used some of those in one section of my game world. Deep ones, gods for them. They have, here we go, the demons. Like I said, there's a lot of interesting type demons. I like that things aren't just, rehashes of Monster Manual stuff, but with, different stat block or something. But they've put a lot of work and effort. Here we've got a demon lord of cockroaches. The Creature Codex has a demon lord of rats. This guy's like an owl demon lord of bats and fire. And then he's got his own skin bats, which are like his specific demon lord types. I really like this guy here. This guy I've actually placed into my game world as well. The players haven't met him. They might in a future campaign though. He's in like a different continent from where they've been mostly operating. He's a CR27. So even ahead of Demogorgon and Orcus. Some pretty freaky art here. If you notice, these things have like faces on the end of his tentacles there. A bunch of interesting Darrow. I used a bunch of those as well in my game. Archdevils, of course. I really like a lot of the history and lore that they've brought into their world as well. Lunar Devils and the Fae. They have a lot of interesting Fae, like I mentioned earlier, including here. Let's just skip ahead. Oh no, dragons. We gotta show some dragons. All right. This is more stuff showing like just how these different creatures fit into the game world and what you can do with them. What kind of places, or they can be found in. Notes about like their worshippers and priests and stuff. A lot of just lore and stuff, which I find makes the game richer and more interesting. Yeah, here's one of the bars I mentioned earlier to talk about like things like tactics for the Wind Dragon. So hopefully your fights will be more interesting instead of just generic encounters. Let's get to the Fae section here. Because like I said, there's a lot of interesting Fae. They've also introduced their own like Fae lords. Yeah, here we go. Fae lords and ladies. They have sections dealing on each of them. So we've got the Bear King. They all have like their own lair actions and stuff like that as well. Of course, a lot of these things tend to be quite powerful. The Bear King's only like a CR13, but a lot of these other guys are like 16s to 18s. The Queen of Night and Magic is at CR21. She's the most powerful of the Fae Lords and Ladies. But there's a lot of like interesting personality to them. They're not just there's like history between them and notes on what they think about each other, because they're all part of the same court. And just in general, I really find that this book does a really good job of just creating this feeling that it's not just a bunch of monsters with stat blocks, that you are looking at creatures that inhabit this world and reading about how they interact with one another and how they all fit in together. And I really think they've done an excellent job on that kind of thing, just really giving their world a lot of feeling. Ghoul Emperor, my players actually just fought this guy not too long ago. It was a pretty decent battle. He's quite powerful as well. It's like a CR19 or 20, somewhere around there. And in there, they have like a bunch of intelligent ghouls, so I just decided to steal this idea as well, who've actually created like their own underground empire and are essentially at war with like the Darrow and the Drow and other such, underworld empires, right? They've got some unique and legendary giants in this one as well. Just a neat idea. Different tribes of goblins. There's also some different orc tribes as well. One thing that I quite like about that, kobolds of course, is so one thing I like about that is that in their world, the giants are essentially at war with a lot of the different gods and whatnot, and so like their Jotun are like CR21 or 22 as well. They're most powerful of the different giant clan that they have, and it kind of has that like Midgardian feel of like the giants versus the gods. Excuse me. Which has always just felt very epic in concept and scope. apologize. This is going to be like the most crap video ever. But whatever. Like I said, we'll just power through it anyways. So like I said, I like a lot of the art. I really find that it's very evocative. It's also very beautiful. And it's not like it's just a couple pieces here and there. The art's very consistent throughout the entire book. Of course, they have a huge range of creatures and CRs, all the way from like 1/8 to, like I said, to a CR 27. There's tons of undead in this thing, which I quite like. Their campaign world is called the Midgard world, and I think there's a lot of it's not really like the Norse Midgard world, but there's definitely some comparisons. Oh, this whole section on Sphinx temples and riddles. There's a lot of beasts. In particular, let's see if I can find the Savager real quick. The Savager has been very popular with my players. There we go. It's like a porcupine bear creature. The reason they like it is because it's a CR8, and they've been able to use it for, polymorphing people into. It does a lot of damage. It has like, just ridiculous damage actually. Okay, it's showing on it's not fair. Let's put it somewhere. Anyways, we'll just look at a bit more of the art here. So I really like this art. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's not to repeat myself too many times here. Titans, excellent. Also, War with the Gods. Weeping Trance. Narrators. They also have a lot of like Lovecraftian type stuff, which I always appreciate. And then here towards the end here, let's just flip up ahead. We have a Wormheart Suffragant. Look at that art. That was just spooky looking. Those are like all worms and stuff spilling out of its cowl. Nice and creepy. So then towards the end here, we have the Villain Codex, and much like the Monster Manual, it's going to go through and just show like stats of different common humanoids, which is nice. We've got like City Watch Captains, we got some other stuff. We've got Dwarven Ring Mage. I like another thing about this world in general is that they have a bunch of different types of magic, and some of them are quite limited, but are quite powerful despite that, where you won't necessarily have all the options the other classes would, or in the case of the ring mages, they have to store their magic in rings. So the magic has to be like basically preset, a lot of it, but then it's quite powerful when they use it. There's also this appendix here showing you different features of different creatures, and they, of course, oops, that's a nice page. There we go. Have Monsters by Challenge rating as well. Of course, they have a bunch of advertisements for their other products, but that's okay. This video isn't sponsored by them or anything like that. I'm not getting any money from these guys. I just genuinely really like this product. And it was pretty cheap compared to like an actual Monster Manual as well. So yeah, I just figured I'd do a video and talk about it, because this is one of my third-party like books that I use all the time. This and the Creature Codex get used constantly. It's just a nice supplement to have for a game if you're able to order it online or pick it up at a local hobby store. At least in my case, it was quite a bit cheaper than the Monster Manual. It's over 600 pages long, as you can tell. It's quite thick. It's quite involved, and it was quite a bit. So it not only was it bigger than the Monster Manual, but it was also cheaper than the Monster Manual, which I appreciate. And with all the notes and things they have to tie it to their world and explain like how their world kind of works and how all these different races fit in together, I find that it was really easy to just adapt a lot of that stuff and to put it into my game world. So that's basically everything I have to say about the Tome of Beasts. Like I said, at some point in the future, I will make a video talking about the Creature Codex, and we'll go through that. But that's basically everything I have for this. Again, I apologize for the quality of this video. A, I'm sick, and B, it's just kind of rubbish. But, hopefully we do the video, we get better and improve over time, right? So anyways, hopefully there's something in here that you can take away. And I'll see you next time in the dungeon. Okay, bye.